Imagine you worked your whole life, saved a mountain of money, finally retired, and then accidentally spent it all by 72 like you were on a shopping spree at Costco with no cart limit. That is not a retirement plan, that is a tragedy with a bulk-sized twist. Here is the uncomfortable truth. Nobody puts on a greeting card. Saving money is only half the battle, and the other half is figuring out how to actually spend it without running out before you run out of birthdays. We call that the withdrawal strategy, and it is basically the instruction manual your nest egg never came with. The most famous rule in this whole game is called the 4% rule, and it sounds almost too simple to be real. The idea is that you can withdraw 4% of your total savings every single year, and statistically, your money should last about 30 years. So if you retired with $1 million saved up, 4% means you pull out $40,000 a year to live on. That is not yacht money, but it is also not eating cereal for dinner money, so we are somewhere in the middle. The 4% rule was born from research done back in 1994 by a financial planner named William Bengen, who ran the numbers through decades of market history and essentially said, "Here, this seems safe enough." It became the golden rule of retirement withdrawals, faster than you can say, compound interest. Now here is where it gets spicy, because the market does not care about your retirement date or your carefully laminated budget spreadsheet. When stocks drop 30% the same year you start withdrawing, you end up selling more shares just to get the same dollar amount, which is like bailing water out of a sinking boat with a teacup. That problem even has a name, and it is called sequence of returns risk, which sounds like a villain in a Marvel movie, but is actually just bad timing wearing a suit. Retiring right before a market crash can be genuinely more damaging than retiring with less money during a strong economy. That is why a lot of smart planners have moved towards something called dynamic withdrawals, where instead of pulling the same amount every year like clockwork, you adjust based on how your portfolio is actually doing. Good year in the market, maybe you spend a little more. Rough year, you trim back and pretend you are going minimalist on purpose. Some people use what is called the bucket strategy, where you mentally divide your money into short-term, medium-term, and long-term buckets, each invested differently. The first bucket covers the next 2 to 3 years of expenses and safe, boring cash, so a market crash does not force you to sell stocks at the worst possible time. Social Security also plays into all of this in a big way, because every year you delay claiming past 62 adds roughly 8% more per year to your monthly benefit until age 70. Waiting feels painful, but mathematically it can be like giving yourself a raise for doing absolutely nothing except aging, which honestly you were going to do anyway. Healthcare is the wild card nobody wants to look at directly, because the average couple retiring today may need somewhere around $300,000 just for medical expenses in retirement, not counting long-term care. Ignoring that number in your withdrawal plan is like building a house and just hoping it never rains. Inflation is the slow, sneaky one in this story, because $40,000 today will not buy the same things in 20 years that it buys right now. Your withdrawal strategy has to account for prices creeping up every year. Otherwise, you are technically making the same withdrawal but living on less and less in real terms. The honest lesson here is that there is no single perfect withdrawal strategy that works for every person in every market in every decade, and anyone who tells you otherwise is selling something. What works is building a plan, stress testing it against bad scenarios, and being willing to adjust when reality does not cooperate with your spreadsheet. The retirees who sleep best at night are not the ones with the most money, they are the ones who understood the plan, built in some flexibility, and stopped pretending the market would always go up, just because they really needed it to. Preparation is not pessimism, it is just knowing the rules of the game before you are already playing it. If any of this made you curious about how to actually build your own strategy, or you want to see what tools and guidance our company offers, check out the links in the description to learn more.